everybody. Thank you for joining us today. And I want to welcome my panel that is sharing this topic of discussion. I have Susan Jarboe and Reverend Linda, and I'm Kathy Cronin. And today, before we begin, let's take a moment to get centered and focused so that we can be in this present moment. And if it helps to close your eyes to be able to block the distractions around you, and then focus on your breathing to slow down, and just become calm, just to feel that peace entering into your body and the muscles relaxing. And breathe in very deeply down to the tips of your toes. And then exhale with a sigh. And as we breathe in again, we call in spirit. Dear Father, Heavenly God, and the spirit of thy soul, come into our hearts, our minds, and open us to the wisdom and the guidance that is here for our taking. We ask you to bless those around us and to keep us safe in our thoughts and in our deeds. And we are so thankful for this time together. Amen. So today I'm doing a topic, it's a daily inspiration. And this comes from an excerpt from the book Wholehearted Living, An Enchanted Journey for Your Soul. And it was written by Reverend Christian Sorensen, who is the minister of Seaside Center for Spiritual Living. And this daily inspiration was called Eat Your Spinach. And I will read what he wrote. And he starts with a quote from Ernest Holmes' Science of Mind. On page 33, it says, "When we learn to trust the universe, we shall be happy, prosperous, and well." And in the writing, Reverend Sorensen wrote, "We all know that dark leafy greens, like kale and spinach, are good for us. They are packed with nutrients and vitamins that are necessary for our health and vitality. But often, even though we know it's good for us, we don't actually put it into our mouths and eat it, choosing other less healthy options instead. Spirituality can be like this. Some people like to talk about spiritual principles, and some like to read about and contemplate how they work, but it does no good for the quality of our lives unless we actually put them into action. As we begin this adventure for our souls, let us take one step every day to align our actions with our beliefs and begin to live these principles so that we not only know about God, but we have a deep experience of God. We can begin to trust life to call to us all the experiences that bring a deeper peace, joy, and well-being. This way, we will experience what Ernest Holmes wrote is talking about in the above quote, which I stated, we will be happy, prosperous, and well. So I'm going to ask to my panel to take this spiritual contemplation. Take a look at your life to see in what areas you are more or less likely to trust the divine process. How can you practice your knowledge of spirituality in that area a bit more? And commit to doing one thing each day this month to deepen your connection to the divine. So I took the challenge of this contemplation and I said, where in my life am I nourishing my soul the way spinach and healthy foods nourish the body? Am I reading materials that are good for me? Am I spending time with people who are positive and uplifting? How am I nourishing myself to being well? Am I being prosperous in my thinking And am I learning to eradicate the negative issues in my life? And I can see that thing a step by taking each day one little small step. It's the same thing as each day if you're changing your diet, if you incorporate more spinach into your diet, or you do something else that's more helpful, your body starts to respond and becomes healthier. It's the same thing with my soul. If I can turn off the news and keep that negativity out a little more often, if I can take a moment, even as I may watch this, is to bless it and open it up to divine, that there's a purpose for it. So the thing I look at is, how am I nourishing myself spiritually? Am I improving on my spiritual well-being by taking the actions needed to have a healthy mind, heart, and soul? And do I nourish myself in the best way that I can feel that the divine? And as it says, if I can do this along with eating healthy, I can be happy, prosperous, and well. So I want to ask my panel their thoughts on how they can take a look at their life in the areas where they're more or less likely to trust the divine process, and what practices they have to building their spirituality to be happy, prosperous, and well. So who would like to go first? Hi, Susan.
Hi, Kathy. I think this is a wonderful topic, and it's a topic that we can think about all the time. Working to enhance my spiritual growth and spiritual development is, something I've been working on my entire life. And the issues that at present I am really facing have to do with negativity and, as you said, the news. And one of the things I have done is I subscribe to a good news network. And so every day I have in my inbox um, a little newsletter that is full of good news, like something they've discovered on the medical front, or perhaps a species is now back from extinction. It is all good news. And what may surprise you, as it surprised me, is if you search for good news sites, there are a whole bunch of them. And so I think that the world is kind of tired of negativity and would like a better balance with good news. You used a phrase that I liked, trust the universe. And I use that in my head a lot if I'm worried about something or concerned about something. Trusting the universe is a phrase that I use. Where I would like to see more of a spiritual connection in my life is housework and yard work. And here I need to remember Brother Lawrence and his work practicing the presence of God, which is everything can be a spiritual manifestation of Christ consciousness. And I need to apply that to some of the tasks that I find particularly burdensome. So thank you for bringing up this subject and nudging me to think about it more deeply.
Well, thank you, Susan. Well, Linda.
I'll jump in. I absolutely love this topic. And when I saw that we were talking about eat more spinach, it's one of my favorite foods, so I was happy. And now I know we're talking about another of my favorite foods. I call it soul food. And I consciously try and spend time every day in doing something that feeds my soul. And by that, I mean strengthens my connection with spirit, just kind of keeps me in the knowing of the presence of God. There are a lot of things that I do. I could meditate more. I could always meditate more, but I need to kind of keep a balance in my life, and meditating more right now isn't going to happen, but that is something I would love to do. One area that I could grow my faith a little more is on my schedule. I can fall into a sense of overwhelm. I like to work ahead and I don't like to be behind. And I could see, if I just knew I would be ready when it happened, that would be more in faith. Um, I love this topic, and I wanted to reply to something Susan said. As far as housework and gardening go, I find that they go better with gratitude. If I'm cleaning the house, grateful to have a home to live in, a place to be, a kitchen to cook in, a living room, and if that's my guiding spirit when I'm doing my housework or gardening or tending the animals, if I do it with gratitude, it's like a spoonful of sugar. Well, gratitude is my sugar when I'm doing those things that aren't always my favorite things. Thank you, Kathy, for this fabulous topic.
Well, thank you, Reverend Linda. And I appreciate Susan and Reverend Linda, your comments and your thoughts and how you're nourishing your souls and the ways that you have areas that you want to work on and to improve. And it is about, I chuckled when I read this article about eating your spinach and things. And I can recall a time that friends and we would go out to lunch and we'd talk about our diets, and we say, oh yeah, we need to do this, oh, and this is really good to eat, and then we'd look at each other and go, so are we having dessert? So sometimes it's like we sabotage ourselves along the way. And I sometimes see that I do that spiritually. Is like I find myself getting caught into the negative conversations and just, going on and on rather than turning it around to see the positive. So, Reverend Linda, I like the fact that, the attitude of gratitude when there's something you're doing that don't like to do is just being grateful for it. And then blessing the circumstances around you. So for those who are listening, I'm going to welcome back the panel, and I want to put out to everybody, if you can, maybe just each day find something that you can be nourishing your spirituality, that you can be putting the trust into the universe, and that you find makes your day more connected, that you feel healthier, more joyful, more prosperous, and you're feeling well. And that's what I want to thank everybody that has joined us today. I'm going to close that with that challenge to say, practice each day the same way if you were on a diet, that you focus on eating the healthy foods. Do the same thing for your soul, is choose to make those choices. And gratitude is a big part of it. Prayer, meditation, and just affirming that God is with you. So with this affirmation, I'm going to close. I trust the universe. I am happy, prosperous, and well. And thank you, everybody, for joining us today. And I want to thank Reverend Linda and Susan for being here and for sharing your thoughts. And if you want to be a part of our panel, please reach out to the church. At the end of this video, there's information on how you can be contacted. And we love your feedback. Any comments that you have to share with us, it really helps us to know what you're looking for, what you would like to have. If you're not already a subscriber, please, click on the little button so that you can get these notifications. And we look forward to the next time that you can join us. And if you want to be a part of our panel, come and be with us. So thank you so much, and we want to say goodbye. Have a good day.
Thank you for joining us, and let's stay connected and grow in spirit. We are on Facebook. Search for Unity Church of El Cajon and follow us and like our posts. You can reach us on YouTube at Unity Church of El Cajon. Please subscribe to our channel, watch our videos, and leave comments which can help us improve. We are on the web at unityofelcajon.org. Email or call our church office to receive our weekly newsletters, which lists all of our activities and opportunities to learn and grow together.